Hey guys, and welcome back to the English Shooting live stream. I'll be your host as always, Callum from English Shooting. No, we don't have Connor's back just yet, but we are working on that as always. But I hope you are doing well. I hope you've had a fantastic week of shooting, obviously with a lot more ranges open now. We're going to be discussing that later on in the stream. A lot of you should be able to get back to your clubs and start putting lead down range as we've all been wanting to over these lockdown periods. So obviously I can see in the chat a load of people waiting. Thank you very much for your patience in waiting on that. And the usuals in the chat, you're going to know what this is all about. You know the usual deal. Anybody joining us, well, it's an interactive live stream. You can abuse, ask questions, propose topics in the comment section if you want to, or you can just sit there, watch, and hopefully be entertained. So yeah, don't be afraid, don't be shy, put anything in the comment section and I'll try and answer any questions and bring up any topics that you want. Of course, the biggest topic for this week, as I'm sure everybody is aware, is the death of His Royal Highness Prince Philip. And whilst personally I'm not a particularly huge royalist, I'm certainly not anti the royals. I'm certainly in the group that thinks that they certainly bring in more than they take. There's loads of people say, well, what about all the millions in taxpayers' money that they take or cost the taxpayer? Well, I think they bring that back in other revenue streams long term. But certainly out of the royal household, one of the hardest or previously hardest working royals is of course Prince Philip. He's known for attending thousands and thousands of public meetings and doing royal engagements throughout his career. But more importantly, I think to us, is that he was a huge advocate of shooting, hence the title of this video. And I think certainly as a community we are in some way a little bit weaker with him now gone. And for those of you that may say, well, of course all the royals are fans of shooting in one form or another, Prince Philip tended to take that a little bit further. The royals are obviously known for being reasonably reserved and certainly not outspoken. I know that Prince Philip as a whole tended to break that tradition, or to break that that sort of manner. He would always speak up and say exactly what he thought, but it's specifically that on Dunblane and the banning of handguns, and some of you may have seen this on the English Shooting Facebook page. If you're not already a member on there or liking it or following it, please do, because that's where a lot of this stuff ends up going first before the live streams or even videos. But this is an actual quote from the man himself. If a cricketer, for instance, suddenly decided to go into a school and batter a load of people to death with a cricket bat, which he could do very easily, I mean, are you going to ban cricket bats? And that's really just nail on the head. That may seem like a pretty cliche argument to make, but for a senior member of the royal family to have come out with something like that, I think is pretty extraordinary. And he's just, like, honestly just speaking the truth. It's you know, where do you stop? Of course, we have very low gun ownership in the UK, and you know, on the whole, very low gun crime overall, but that just gets transferred over to knives. We have an effective knife epidemic here, and where do you stop? Basically, do you ban the guns, and then you ban the knives, and then you ban the baseball bats, and you ban the golf clubs? It's again, it's about the person, it's about mental health, it's about society's health as a whole. Having these inanimate objects out there doesn't necessarily, it doesn't in any statistics go to prove any correlation with violence, murder, or other crime. So yeah, he had a hell of a lot of respect from me just for that statement alone. And also, his involvement with shooting didn't just end with that quote. He was also a patron of Basque, love or hate Basque, as I'm sure some of you will and some of you won't. He was affiliated with the largest shooting organization in this country. If that doesn't show how sort of pro-gun and as big a gun advocate as you could be, well, that's really as big as it can get. And somebody actually messaged me over on the UK Shooting Discord that he was also a patron of the British Alpine Rifles Company. Not one that personally I know a lot about, but again, to be a patron of a rifle manufacturer's or another gun company, well, that just goes to show the sort of level of advocacy he had for the sport. Maybe it's time for Prince Andrew to step up soon. I'm sure it's his girlfriends that need a step, if you get my drift. But anyway, moving on swiftly. So yeah, I think we've lost a huge public figure that was an advocate for shooting sports, and I think that's a real shame. And overall, I think, you know, actually a break of the mold. The Royals generally, I don't think, do a huge favour for shooting sports, because obviously within the upper echelons of society, you know, game shooting and stalking is very much a popular pastime, and the Royals are very in sync with that. You know, they have estates, they have shooting estates to do their shooting on their off season, as it were. So, you know, that sort of image I don't necessarily think helps shooting sports overall, in terms of making shooting just look like fuddy-duddy. It's just all about the killing, it's just all about hunting something, or it's all about wearing your tweed. Again, I think Prince Philip has broken away from that stereotypical image slightly, certainly sticking up for handguns with that quote of his. So yeah, I mean, it seems to be a little bit downhill from there. Speaking again about royals and guns, quite famously, Prince Harry has sold off all of his guns, or has agreed not to shoot ever again, because his new wife doesn't like shooting, or certainly is ignorant to the fact of what, you know, shooting sports or game hunting is really all about. So he's a lost one as well, as far as that would go. And you know, if you want to get in the Kate versus Meghan debacle, or you know, you want to pick sides, Kate has been photographed numerous times out there in the field with a gun in her hand. So yes, Harry's, I think, in a way, Harry and Meghan are letting down the team as shooters. The others, it still seems to be a very much a stereotypical pastime of the royals, or certainly a something that's gone on almost like a traditional pastime, as it were. So they seem to be maintaining that, and of course Charles as well seems to be a keen hunter. So hopefully it will carry on in the top member of the family. Of course, the Queen as well. There's the famous image of the Queen shooting an SA-80 actually down on Sentry, I believe it was, at Bisley. So again, there's a good history there and a good track record of Royals and their pro gun and being pro shooting, and yeah, hopefully that continues. But yeah, what you guys saying? What you're talking about? I see someone's been timed out by Dan. God knows what they said. His Dunblane comments were spot on. Shame people were too angry to see what he was saying. Absolutely. After he said that, he was promptly told to shut up by the Queen and the Prime Minister. Yes, I mean, you know, it's no surprising. Certainly, if anybody watches any documentaries, and certainly, well, if you take it with a pinch of salt, the season of The Crown, or the series of The Crown on Netflix, the Queen and the royal family certainly nowadays are not meant to get involved in the politics like that. So it was certainly sort of out of the norm for a senior royal like that to make such a statement. And I'm sure the Queen, while she may have her own views of it, wasn't particularly happy that he stepped out of line on that. But again, that's I think part of the reason so many people seem to love Prince Philip and will certainly miss him, because again, he was a man that wasn't afraid to say what he thought, and I think we could do with that a lot more in modern society. I think a lot of people, you know, being PC or council culture, people are scared out there to go out and say something, you know, whether it's, well, of course you want it to be true. If someone's saying something, it is always good to be truthful, but people are fearful of the truth in terms of the backlash that they potentially will get, and that's just getting worse and worse. It's a little bit of you know, it's a bit hard to maybe cancel, you know, Prince Philip or the Queen, you know, so they've sort of got they've got a get out of jail free card on the cancel culture on that one. But your average person, again, you go on social media and say the wrong things, you can have a whole mob of people after you. The royal family needs to remain politically neutral. Yeah, I don't disagree. I don't necessarily think they should be politically charged or biased in any way. Again, which goes to show how bigger a thing it was for Prince Philip to come out and say what he did. Spat my glass of Coke out there, Callum. Yeah, I always try. Do you recommend any gun cleaning kits if you guys at Magload, we're not there just yet, are looking at making a full-on gun cleaning kit? Will for sure buy it, as I trust you guys as reputable sellers for quality goods. Well, that's great to hear. Very British. We do appreciate the advocacy. We have talked about various cleaning kits. Connors is very particular about selling our own stuff that we have designed and we manufacture and we sell. But it's certainly something that everyone needs. It's something that, you know, it's not the first time we've had the request of a Magload cleaning kit, so it's something that I'll bring up with him tomorrow. In terms of recommendations of stuff that's already on the market, I really like the Otis kits. I think it's Otis. I think they might have even changed their name actually, but I got a couple of their kits while out in the States a while ago, and they're the little, I think I did a review of them. I think I even gave one away as part of a giveaway, but they're a little like bag, range bag kit, and it's really compact. You can take it anywhere you go, chuck it in the glove box, chuck it in your range bag, even clip it to your belt, and you've pretty much got everything in this little kit to be able to maintain or clean any caliber of gun. I can also recommend the Bisley kits. They're probably not the best ones out there, but they're pretty cheap. It's what I bought for my first shotgun. I've still actually probably got it in this room buried somewhere. We've got so many cleaning kits at work. I don't need to take any from home, so it's just laying about. But yeah, it's a little transparent fronted carry case, and it came with the rod, came with some oil, some gun cleaner, brushes. To be honest, I like to sort of mix and match. I don't think there's one company out there that necessarily makes one, you know, their whole range of stuff is like the dog's bollocks, as it were, in terms of, you know, one company does the best cleaner and the best oil and the best sort of rust preventer and stuff like that. I tend to use Hoppies for for cleaning, that stuff is lethal. You do have to. I managed to strip the plastic off of the. It was the bolt spring in the 1522. Originally they're blue. Perhaps next time I have the gun, I'll actually open it up and show you guys. But they it just stripped the paint off the or the coating on the spring straight off. So if you can do that, then lead isn't really going to be putting up much of a fight. And I've found Hoppies to be the best lead cleaner or best lead remover, and I tend to buy it out in the States. It is horrendously expensive in the UK, but over in the States, I picked up a whole, like a large bottle of it, and it was something like, you know, $5, and I just filled my suitcase with it. So I still have unopened bottles of that. But yeah, as a starter kit, as something to get you out there, get you going, the Bisley kits, most gun shops will sell it. I think they're about 30-40 quid, maybe 50 quid. I don't know, it was a while ago since I bought mine. Cleaning kits are sort of a muchness. I would get a bog standard kit to start with, and then experiment, buy different cleaners, buy different oils, and just find what you like. Of course, I can highly recommend Mag. There we go. Helps if you turn it on. Anyway, it sort of crashed last week a little bit, and I don't know what it was doing. I think I was just saying, I don't know if you heard it. I blame Arius. Arius was the one to tell me to play around with my settings, and now I start getting these crashes. So thanks, Arius. Although he gives as good as he gets sometimes. Lip reading, no sound. Am I back? I've got audio here. It's on a delay, so I've probably fixed it, and you're still telling me stuff. Sorted. There we go. There we go. Technical genius here. So yes, it's Arius's fault. That's the long and the short of that one. I'll leave the settings as they were. Everyone complains, although looking at it, the image looks pretty clear. Everyone complains about the quality of the image, and I get loads of comments about how I should fix it and lighting. Like, I've got retina burn with the lights in front of me here. I am using panel lights, and I've tried with the settings and it crashes. So I mean, I guess that's my fault for using a Mac. But I'll investigate it further and see if I can have a play with it and see if I can get it going. But yeah, anyway, basically, long and the short of that, of the cleaning kit, buy a cheap Bisley one, and then go and try different things out on your own. But somebody, I did see a good Simon 2004 Simon. What's your top 10 things to have in your range bag? Okay, so I actually did a video with Ben Ducker. He's a member of Team Magload on this, and he it's like the ultimate range bag. It's a video on the channel. Go and check out that. Like, go onto the channel and type in like ultimate range bag, and it will pop up. If you want to know absolutely everything you should have in your range bag, go and see that. Ben travels across the world, up and down the country, shooting at the highest level, and he's sort of experienced at this point every scenario that you possibly could, and has learnt from it. And every time he finds he needs something and hasn't got it in his range bag, he then he puts it in there to make sure that he doesn't run into the same issue as before. But in my range bag, well, are you gonna like genuinely what's in my range bag at any given time is my belts. So I will have my two-piece belt and my shotgun belt with loaders and holsters and stuff like that. So I treat that as one. So like, your belt accessories, because I like a range bag not necessarily to be able to take more stuff down the range, but to easily carry all of the stuff I regularly take down the range. Number two, I would say, is a shot timer. These aren't necessarily in an order, just as they come to my head. Number two, shot saver. Like if you're going to be going down and training, or if you're going to a competition, ROs and match directors and match organisers really appreciate it when people bring spare shot timers, because people forget to charge them, they break, they go missing. So you can get in an RO's good book if you save the day with your own. And also if you're training, there's a saying from the range out in Utah, which is think, don't plink. And the general premise of that is, if you're going to go to the range and train properly. Don't just go down there and throw lead out down range. You're going to have no measure. You're not going to know if you're getting better. You're not going to have any measure to see what you need to improve on. So have a shot timer and just do a few timed drills. Even if you put a little stage together and you run it and you go, right, that was my initial time. Where do I think I can improve? Maybe do a few drills on things you think you can improve, and try that stage at the end of your training session and see if you can progress. Number three is a compact cleaning kit. And I'll treat these two separately, but a compact cleaning kit, so having a brush in there, having some oil, some cleaner, a cloth, wipes, things like that, just so you can give your gun a basic one over. Let's say you get to a high level competition and you've forgotten to clean your gun. Well, you can give it a quick dust over and make sure that's okay. So what we're on, so it was belt, shot timer, cleaning kit, tools, a little toolkit, like a multi-bit toolkit, making sure that you've got like a screwdriver, torque set, Allen keys. The amount of time that people are out asking for Allen keys on the range, so just a little multi-purpose toolkit is an absolute must, and include a few picks in that as well. A lot of guns will require picks to be able to be fixed. That's 4. What else? Plasters. This might sound a bit silly. Plasters. I always have plasters in my range bag. You always get nipped and cut on the range. It just happens, sometimes more spectacularly than others. But yeah, definitely some plasters. Trying to think what else. I mean, given COVID, you should probably have some hand sanitizer, and actually hand sanitizer isn't a bad idea anyway. If you get your hands all dirty from all day, and you got lead deposit on it, and you want to have a bite to lunch, just being able to give yourself some sort of a wash from what you have in your bag. So what was that, 6? Drinks. I always tend to have some drinks in the bag, and they will stay there for months. I just know if I head to the range and I get thirsty, well, I've got a drink in the bag, and if I have it, then I'll make sure when I come back I will replace that. So having fluids, having drinks, stuff like that. Batteries, definitely having spare batteries, from AA's, AAA's to 3220s or 2022s, I can't remember. You know the ones I mean, the ones that go in all the scopes. What are we up? Is that 7? Trying to think. PPE, of course, having a set of Ear Pro and Eye Pro in there, I'll treat that as 1. Again, I just leave all of this in the bag. It's in the mentality of, if I leave it all in the bag, I can just grab it, go to the range and not think. Chokes, I have shotgun chokes in there. Again, just to stop me from leaving them. If you put them in a drawer somewhere in the office or in the gun room and you go to a match and you haven't got your shotgun chokes, you're pretty screwed. What's that? Is that like 8, 9? Pens and paper. Again, it might sound a bit trivial, but the amount of times that you need to jot something down on a range, again, like a pad might die, a scoring tablet might die, or so on and so forth. That's probably 10. I'm just trying to think of anything else that's in the bag. I don't know. That's just all the stuff that really just comes to me of what's in my bag. So yeah, that's just a little insight. I said I would do a video of my range bag at some point, but to be honest, like, it's never going to be as good as Ben's. And again, if you want to see the ultimate range bag, go and watch Ben Ducker and go and have a look at his range bag as well. Monster all the way, 100%. I will always make sure there is a can of Monster and water in the bag. They're both as important as each other. So yeah, I'm not a morning person. I'm sure a lot of you know this, certainly if you've hung out with me before, or you've met me at a range before. You'll know I tend to turn up towards the afternoon. I don't like getting up early, especially on a Saturday or on a Sunday, and the monster just makes it easier. And also I look at it as a safety thing. You're getting up sometimes at the crack of sparrow fart to drive halfway up the country for a match. Well, you're driving and you don't want to be like half asleep driving. So, you know, I have a monster there. Even if my range bag is, say, you know, in the house, you know, I'll get up and just crack it open and get that in me. You know, jump in the shower, and by the time I've had a shower and got dressed, I'm perky. Not like that. And I'll jump in the car and I'll be fine. So maybe 2 monsters, because you want one to like wake you up, and then one. There's an argument about using energy drinks during matches, and I completely agree. It's you want consistency throughout the day, and I think a lot of people make the mistake of chugging down a Monster or a Red Bull right before the first stage, and they have a first couple of really good stages, and then they just fall off the cliff halfway through the day. The answer to that is pack more energy drinks, because if you start feeling a bit, you know, you start feeling the come down on it, chug another one and keep going. But no, I can see it both ways. There are some shooters that are just devout, will not have any energy drinks when they're competing because of consistency. Yet the same ones tend to have a cup of coffee before they start the match anyway. But it's personal preference. Personally, I don't shoot well when I'm half asleep, so I'd prefer to have the you manage that come down on it. Daniel's gone to put his girls to bed, put the chickens to bed, kiss them goodnight for us. I hope they don't peck too much. Sounds good, man. Yeah, just watched the video, couldn't believe how much was in that small bag. Yes, again, that just goes to show the experience of how he crams everything in it. And it was funny as we were filming it, because of course it is edited. I don't think neither of us are like sort of good enough presenters to sort of go start to finish. So there's various cuts in it, and there were numerous moments that we were just in absolute hysterics, because he would pull out like a set of Allen keys and then pull out another set, and I'd be like, okay, well, Imperial or metric? And he was like, no, they're both metric. And they were like exactly the same toolkit. And I was like, okay. And then as well as his like, he had a collection of Allen keys. He had small ones and big ones, and Imperial and metric and duplicate sets. And he'd just pull things out and go, oh, I've forgotten I had that. But it's in, you know, and the thing is, it's an interesting video as well, because Ben can tell you why everything's in there. You know, I went to this match and this happened, and I just, you know, there's a story of him laser bore sighting a rifle across like his Holiday Inn like car park, or his hotel car park when he was out in the States. You know, because I think he said his red dot failed. He then went and got a replacement and then had to sight it in. Now, of course, it's not going to be pinpoint accurate, but it was enough for him to then get to the range quickly in the morning and dial it in quicker. But yeah, like laser scoping across the car park. I mean, in America, probably not a huge deal. In the UK, definitely looking at prison. But yeah. Suggestion for torque screwdrivers. We tend to use the Wera. I've used for a number of years, both within the gun industry and my previous engineering role. I love the stuff. I think it's super high quality. I think it's really innovative. If a screwdriver can be innovative, then Wera is innovative. They just come out with all these really nice add-on ideas that just make the tools so much nicer and easier to use. So Wera do a small torque wrench, or like torque screwdriver. I don't think it's the cheapest in the world, but certainly can recommend it and recommend that brand. Captain Crack. Okay, all right, it's that time, and I genuinely haven't looked at this, so I don't know what it's going to be, and I really don't know if I trust Captain Crack. Let's bring up only. So for any of you that don't know, we have sort of a weekly tradition now of going on to onlyguns.co.uk, and Captain Crack treats us with a new image every week. And let's see what that image is today. So I've typed it in, so all I have to do is hit enter. Let's see what it is. That's an old one. I love it. It's perfect, but that's an old one. Although very fitting, because that is, of course, Prince Charles, isn't it? With the with the news this week, and it's a shame that Daniel's gone to put the chickens away. But yes, yeah, I'm sure you will recognise. Like most of you will know exactly who we all are in that image. Some more than others. But yeah, it's a classic. I might even make that like my phone wallpaper. But there we go. There's onlyguns.co.uk for this week. As I keep saying, make it your homepage and have a little surprise every week or whenever Captain Crack updates it. Sam Davison, thank you very much. I appreciate the donation and the support. Lesson learned from my time in the army: always pack wet wipes. I think I did like briefly mention wipes in terms of the cleaning kit. In my range bag and what sort of Ben has and what I'd recommend people have. Definitely wet wipes that you could potentially use on your gun and yourself as well. Obviously stuff like Hoppies wipes for guns. Definitely don't want to be putting those near your sensitive bits. That's definitely going to burn. It's not going to be a good experience, I can imagine. But yeah, wet wipes very handy. Again, saying, you know, you get to lunchtime and you know you've got lead covered hands and dirty and all that. You don't want to be transferring that inside of your body. So wet wipes or hand sanitizer definitely a good option. Luke M, if you want a cheap look at Fixit Sticks Talk stuff or preset drivers, if you have an adjustable, remember to always leave it on the minimum setting for storage. Absolutely. Know a number of people that have learnt the hard way on that one. Personally, when it comes to tools, this is something that, pardon me, that I just will not skimp on. I would rather have like just one drawer of top quality tools than a whole toolbox full of you know, sort of second-rate tools. And I'm on the Sainsbury's own brand IPA this week. It's getting to the end of the month, all right? It's tight. Although I do have two, and I just finished that one off. Actually had that with my my dinner pre-stream. I'll get on to my second one. Sorry for the noise. I'm not sorry, I'm thirsty. So yeah, tools I would really recommend just buying quality. It will pay off in the long term. I bought a Brytool set of tools, and I've never seen anything like this since, and I'm so glad I bought it when I did. At the time when I was a student, it was not a cheap purchase for me, and it's something like 160 security bit, and it's just a screwdriver with a whole plethora of tools. I can actually, have I got it here? Yeah, I can't get to it. I'll probably end up crashing the stream again if I do. I have never seen a toolkit so complete, and I literally can't buy another one today. They're just fell off the face of the earth, and that was like the only tools that I had for a number of years, but it had everything in it. I could open and adjust and fix pretty much anything. I also have a little, I suppose, well, I was given this, but I have this really cheap sort of little multi-tool kit, and I know I was saying don't buy cheap ones, but again, it's just got a few of the basics. But this Brytool set, it's still looks as good as the day that I bought it. It's probably like like over 10 years old now, and then I started buying wearer stuff. It means that I can't treat myself to tools as often as I was like, because they are bloody expensive, but they all do the job. They never let me down. And if you want to just literally set fire to money, buy Snap-on. Wonderloaf, thank you very much, appreciate that. CZ is best pistol, Glock stinky. Don't necessarily agree with that. I love my Glocks. They're just, if you want to go anywhere in the world and shoot and be able to consistently shoot the same gun, shoot a Glock. And of course, like, and this is actually one of the things that we'll be talking about, a nice segue. But I've shot Glocks out in America, out in the Netherlands, and Prague as well. So they're just always available. So the CZ, they're not a cheap pistol. Most rangers will not have them as the sort of the range slag, as it were, the ones that get passed around. But Glocks, every range will have a Glock bike for everyone to use. and yeah, like if you want consistency, yes, of course, if you are fortunate enough to live in a country where you can go and buy handguns and therefore take that handgun to, you know, competitions across the world, apart from England, then yes, CZ, they are great handguns, they are good guns. I had nothing this week, I'm sorry. Bloke had to donate some old material this week. No, it was a good effort. It was better than nothing. That's what she said. What he said, come out on a trip. So yeah, I was going to talk about the trip. Own brand IPA. Do we have red flag clause? It's Sainsbury's own brand. Like if I was drinking, I don't know, like Morrison's, maybe. I think I've just pissed off all of the northern viewers of this. We do have Morrison's down south. They're just not as popular. Sainsbury's, it's still not cheap. I still think it's like £4 or £5 for a pack of 4. It's not. I'm not on the White Lightning at least, or the Lambrini. Is it Lambrini? Yeah, Lambrini. But yes, we don't have red flag laws here. Well, we sort of do, I guess. But anyway, yeah. In terms of trips and shooting Glocks, here's one I prepared earlier. Of course, I did have it in exactly the spot that I wanted it, and then my computer decided to shit the bed. But some of you may, some certainly longer sort of viewers and subscribers on the channel will remember the trips out to the Netherlands. There is one coming up, and I prepared as always. David's luckily in the chat, so David can give the dates. I've forgotten what dates they are for this year. I think it's during the summer, maybe. But basically, it's the trip back to this range. I do really want to go. Unfortunately, it does clash with a level 3 practical shotgun match, and that unfortunately might have to take priority for me. But if you want to go out and shoot some Glocks or other handguns, it wasn't just Glocks, but primarily was, because again, everyone has them, everyone uses them. And if you want to get up to some of this stuff, yeah, perfect load there, Callum. This is actually probably where I had the most experience, like, or tuition with a handgun ever. So my technique isn't necessarily the best. I don't think I necessarily embarrassed myself, although I'm a bit wobbly there. But yeah, it's range out in the Netherlands. Fantastic trip, great instruction. I don't know if it's the same instructors this time, but it was a fantastic time. And actually, let's go back to the end. So you got to have a bit more of a play with a good selection of guns. So we got to shoot some revolvers and other, 1911. And I think this was the trip that we had a play with an FAL and an Uzi and an AR-15, semi-auto AR-15, which I know from like most people out there isn't the most sexy or exciting thing, but for the UK, it's a little bit of a treat. So if you want to get up to this sort of stuff, you want some proper handgun training and experience shooting a handgun, then get in contact with Kentucky Firearms Club. It's going to be them, or is it the Shooting Travel Club? I don't know who's running it this time, but it's the guys at Kentucky Firearms Club, so they'll certainly be able to point you in the right direction. Great value for money overall. I think the trip's about £300 for 2 or 3 days shooting, all ammo, gun hire, range fees included. And yeah, David, you can expand. I can't remember when the dates were. So David, if you're still with me, please put them there. But if you're interested, get in contact with KFC. They do loads of trips like this. I went to Prague with them, where we did a load of like proper 3-gun, and of course going to the Netherlands and shooting Glocks. Where's that NI? No, yeah, Netherlands. You got that. I'm getting all sorts of stream. I don't know what's going on this. We've had weeks where the stream's been really good, and this week is just all over the place. I don't know. Anyway, let's carry on. I'm sure you can live with it. What is with the rapey gloves in that video? Come to the trip and you'll find out. What happens in the Netherlands stays in the Netherlands. Sometimes, unless your name's Alex Florence, and then everyone knows what goes out in the Netherlands. Basically, that's before I knew anything about handgun shooting. And I was adamant I had a better and more consistent grip with the gloves. I used to use those gloves for shooting shotgun as well. Again, I was adamant that I shot better with the gloves, and then I just realized that actually I needed to learn how to load properly and shoot properly, and that's exactly, like, you won't see me use gloves, like, unless it's like ridiculously cold and I am just having a bit of a plink, or I'm using a gun that's particularly lethal on your hands. I won't use gloves to shoot anymore. You know, I'll take them off and, you know, just use my hands like a real man. David's not put the dates in there. Go on, David, put the dates, please, if you're still with us. You're finally, Sinner 2004, finally moving flats next week. Only been waiting over a year, which means you can put a gun safe in. Awesome. Great, great to hear, and congratulations. Everyone I know at the moment seems to be moving as well. Of course, I think I said it last week, we're currently going through the process of buying our first place as well. I mean, that's not going to make much difference to me being able to have guns. There's a few bigger things to sort out first, but yeah, congratulations. I hope that all goes well. COVID has just been an utter shit, hasn't it? The last year, it's really just put everyone's lives on hold. Big things like, you know, well, for me, getting engaged, buying our first place has pretty much all been delayed by a good 6 months or a year, but you just got to keep at it, don't you? Simon is running the trips in the Netherlands, so is that KFC? I'm guessing that's going to be through KFC. It's in September, so yeah, get in contact with Kentucky Firearms Club if you want to know more about that. Gareth, got to get that bareback fill for the win. Absolutely. Am I shooting Leon Solent 1st of May? Let me check my calendar. I think I'm free. It's April, May. Currently nothing on there at the moment. So yeah, it's actually the week after the... Oh shit, Speed Stills are next week. Didn't realise that at Yateley. Is it Yateley, or have they been postponed again? Anyway, I've got Speed Stills in my calendar for next Saturday. And 1st of May I'm free. So yeah, if you guys are going to be down in Leon Solent, I will actually come down and shoot it. It's not too far away from me. Range crew, you put me on the spot here. I can't exactly say no when I'm on stream, right? Can I get to shoot this time? I didn't get any shooting last time. Like, I'm all for helping the probationers, but I want to shoot as well, or film. Like, doesn't filming count as range crew? Maybe. No glove, no love. Oh dear. I will occasionally put on one glove and pull a Michael Jackson for when I really put a load of rounds down my AR. There are certain scenarios when you're shooting where gloves are beneficial, but certainly for competition, I've completely 180'd on it. It's just all about, if you're finding that you need to use gloves, personally, from my experiences, there's something wrong with your technique. But yes, when you're going down and putting a mammoth amount of lead down range, sometimes just it helps. It helps preserve the skin on your knuckles. Yes, I can shoot. Awesome. Yeah, put me down for range crew. I'll help out. Anything you need. And actually, talking of Speed Stills, and I think is it Yevley? I'm never the best with pronouncing words, but the Yevley Estates. This was actually from Rack and Load. Neil from Rack and Load. He usually drops in on the stream. So if you're there, Neil, hi. Make yourself known. So actually, Neil posted these photos on Facebook, and I'm excited. Like, we need as many ranges as we can get here within the UK. Certainly ones that are suitable for practical shooting. And here it is. I mean, it looks pretty bare bones at the moment, but I think they have literally just finished building it. So those of you that may have heard the expression a practical bay and don't know what we are talking about, these are practical bays. So I believe there's nothing further back from here. So you can see that you actually have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. There's 9 there. Yeah, that's easy. I can't quite count to 10. 9 seems to be my limit. So there's another photo as well. Give you, I guess this photo is taken sort of at chest height. You can get a feel for the size of everything. Apparently it's rated up to 50 cal. So this is a 9 bay range. I mean, like, that's going to be good for level 3 competitions, both in mini rifle, LBP, and shotgun. You ideally want 12, but they can easily put like 2 stages in a couple of the bays. So yeah, that's a potential level 3 destination. You know, that or potential level 3 IPSC range. You need, like, if they manage to double it or triple it over time, that's a potential world shoot site as well. Although actually looking at that, having potentially 9 simultaneous squads might be a bit of a stretch. But although I suppose not every range is always, yeah, I think it is on the world shoot. They are just continuously going. But anyway, it's fantastic to see. I'm certainly a little jealous that this is right by Neil, and he's going to be getting to use this quite often. But I believe this is where the speed stills are going to be held, so I should hopefully get to see them in person, and we'll report back on what they're like and what the estates are like. Apparently this is on a 1,000-acre estate, so you know, I don't think there's many locals or many close neighbours to it, so they've got a lot of freedom. And yeah, it's right by a town as well. If it's the same place as the last speed stills, you know, there's like a main road there, so this could potentially be a very good future range. Hopefully, unlike other more recent new ranges, the owner isn't a complete knob. But by the sounds of it, Neil gets on with everyone. But if Neil is already working with the guy and has been invited down there, the guy can't be too bad. But hopefully, you know, maybe I'll be able to catch the owner or the people that run the range at the speed stills and get them to say a bit more about what they have planned and where the range is heading. What you guys? Crap, those walls are low. Yes. Why did I know that David would have something critical about it? This is something that a lot of people have brought up and certainly have highlighted. I don't know. Again, until you're there in person, it can sometimes be very hard to get a size of scale from a photo. That's certainly what I tell the ladies anyway. But we'll have to see. They might have a massive danger area all around it. You don't know. So I'll wait to see what it's like when we're down there. I mean, that rear backstop does look pretty high. Like, I mean, in terms of, like, you know, shots going out from the from those berms, but as long as those side berms, the smaller ones, are, you know, they're gonna have to be at least 8 foot for like everyone to be safe walking down range while the shooting's going on. But you don't know, they could be. It's very hard to get a sense of scale. David, they are 10 foot. Yeah, perspective. That's what I'm trying to say. Clip the top edge of that and you're in the next bay. Again, let's just reserve judgment until we've like people have been there and seen it in the flesh. Neil seems to say it looks absolutely fine, and he seems to be very happy with it. If those smaller berms are 10 foot, that should be more than enough. But again, it's very hard to get a sense of perspective from the photos. What else do we have? Oh, we've actually got quite a juicy topic. I plan on making this a full video because it is a topic that I've wanted to cover for a very long time. And we actually touched on it last week, and this is the English or the British Bill of Rights. And there are a devout group of people that strongly believe that the Bill of Rights is a mechanism, or certainly a way in legislation, for us to legally own handguns and to stop the ingress of gun control in the UK. And apparently more recently, people were trying to get Basque to use the Bill of Rights to fight against the Mars and lever release bans. Now, if you're watching last week, I touched on it, and you know, my overall answer is yes, it sounds fantastic, and I'm all for a potential, just like, what is it? What would it be? You know, just this potential sort of Hail Mary of a bit of legislation that can potentially revolutionize. could completely change the way of gun ownership here within the country. I just don't have a whole lot of faith in it, because everyone that seems to support it or advocate it don't seem to want to put themselves on the line to prove it, and that makes me very suspicious. It's like, if you really want this to be proven, why don't you go and do it instead of asking me to be the test subject? So Bill Harriman, who I believe is he's the CEO. I think he's like the head of BASC, basically. I think that's what he is. He did an article. I think Bill must be a fan of the channel. So Bill, if you're watching, hello, thanks for joining. You can buy merch on the EnglishShooting.org website if you want to support the channel, or you can donate, Bill, if you really want to. Because I've very rarely brought this topic up on stream, and it's like last week we talked about it on stream, and then this week BASC came out with this. You can go, it's on their website at the moment if you want to go and read it in full. Again, I will be making a full video breaking this down, and basically this paragraph, which is sort of like the best to summarize it. Constitutionally constitutional flexibility. It's getting late, all right, guys. It's been a long day. The English Constitution is unwritten. It is not in any one code, neither is it formally enacted, and its provisions have been sought in many different fields. As such, it stands in stark contrast to the rigid or written constitution, such as that in the US. And I guess the second paragraph as well is pretty important to summarize it. Its inherent flexibility means there are no special safeguards for constitutional rules, and that constitutional law can be changed, amended, or abolished by the will of Parliament alone. There are no fundamental or inalienable norms, and Parliament may legislate in any field. And then there's actually another important thing, allowed by law. And it says, so this is, I believe, the bit that everyone refers to in the Bill of Rights, that the subjects which are Protestants may have arms for their defence suitable to their conditions and as allowed by law. And it's the as allowed by law, as he said, it goes on into the next section, which is the key phrase. And this is what I was sort of like, Bill has, Bill is obviously very, very knowledgeable about firearms history, and certainly historic firearms, maybe looking towards the future of shooting sports and shooting and gun ownership. Maybe not the best person given the whole lead debacle, but we'll leave that. We'll try and make this a positive thing for once. But it's obviously incredibly knowledgeable when it comes to history, and this is a fantastic argument. And to be honest, I just didn't understand it enough. I hadn't looked into it enough, and Bill has just like presented everything on the on a platter for anybody to understand the ins and outs of the Bill of Rights. And it's basically what I was saying last week, which is they've effectively pigeonholed around it. They've changed laws and put various legislation to change the as allowed by law. Well, certain things you're just not allowed to do by law, and he as the article says, both barrels to the Bill of Rights. Again, I think it would be perfect. Like, don't get me wrong, I would love it. I would love for somebody to come out there. I genuinely would love someone to come out there and just prove this all wrong. Not only because it would be proving BASC wrong, but or the head of BASC wrong, but if there is this sort of hidden gem of legislation or Bill of Rights or whatever that could get us handguns back and semi-automatic rifles back for sporting purposes, then great, fantastic. Like, let's go for it. But the people that just keep on harping on about it, like, just stop going on about it. Unless you're going to go out there and prove it yourself, stop going around telling people to try and get them to prove it for you. Because just, again, if you believe in it that much, go and do it. Otherwise, just keep it to yourself, I guess. I do appreciate it. I know there's a lot of people that are passionate about it, and that's where this all comes from. People are passionate. They want to regain our our rights in a sense to bear arms. We did in a way with the Bill of Rights have a right to bear arm, but it's just like the trainer has left the station on that one. They have gone, you know, and it's sort of funny that actually the organisation that has probably had the most to do, or the least to do, whichever way you want to look at it, in protecting what guns we can own and why we can own them, is actually Basque. So there's a bit of synergy there, really. You know, Mr. Harriman coming out and explaining why the Bill of Rights won't work while heading up an organisation that has basically just shat on all gun ownership over the previous 20 years. But there we go. I said I'd try and keep it positive. But yeah, you want to learn more about why the Bill of Rights won't work, go and check out that article. It's honestly the best bit of writing or legislation on it, or summary of it that I've seen. And just a little bit of a self plug for a moment. For those of you that haven't seen, we do have a new English shooting website. I know a lot of you have been asking about the caps and certainly the patches. So this went live last week. If you guys want to go and check it out, a little bit about us, and of course the merch, various other little Magload merch as well, partners, you know, people that support, well, people, companies, businesses, clubs that support the channel have been massive supporters of the channel for a very long time, and there's a little shop there. Very, very happy with this. Very, certainly an upgrade over the last one, so you can go and check that out and pick up some English shooting swag. And if you're new to shooting, if you want like a quick fire resource of how to get into the sport, what to do, then I've put this accumulation of videos, which is pretty much everything you need to know up to your firearms interview. Pretty much once you've done your firearms interview, that's it. But I'm going to do one on like security, on buying your first gun and things like that. So the sort of getting into shooting series will continue, but that's certainly the most important 6 videos in my mind in terms of understanding how to get in there. And if you want to have a look at the English Shooting Instagram, although you can go and follow it and see it yourself, then check out the gallery as well. So yeah, very, very, very happy with that. Go and check that out if you want. So it's EnglishShooting.org. What you guys talking about? Arius, nice website, thank you. I guess you haven't been watching all stream because you are responsible for crushing the stream earlier, Arius. It's all your fault, not mine at all. Couldn't be, possibly. Alex Cox shooting. Hi Alex, how's it going? So Callum, do you really think this lead ban will pass? No, I think we're fucked. Like, that's what I've been going on about it so much. I mean, there is potentially a chance that Basque U-turn on this, but at every single point they have doubled down, right? And I was actually looking through, like, I take screenshots and notes and all sorts of like everything that goes on online or about the sport, right? Because I never know when I'm going to need to refer back to something. I have this like mammoth catalogue of like when certain individuals say stuff or put stuff out there, when companies do it, when organizations do it, so on and so forth. And I was looking through it the other day when I was doing the most recent UK reach lead ban, and I think I touched on this in the video. The thing that just absolutely gobsmacks me about this whole debacle is the cartridge manufacturers, when they came out and said, you know, so Bast were going, look, we've spoken to the industry, we've spoken to the cartridge manufacturers, everyone's on board on this, let's go for it. And like the community are going, where the fuck did this come from? And the cartridge manufacturers evidently then came out and said, nah, no one talked to us about it. So they actually released this statement, and within the statement they say that, you know, we are dedicated, or we are certainly we are driving ahead with, or we are focusing, or our goals are to produce more sustainable ammunition and move away from lead. The main thing of this statement was the fact that Basque had lied through their teeth about consulted the cartridge manufacturers, and the cartridge manufacturers came out together and said no one's talked to us. And Basque ended up taking this like small line where they say, you know, we're committed to non-lead alternatives, and they were basically like, they then put out a post saying, oh, it's fantastic to see that the cartridge manufacturers are committed to moving away from lead. And I was like, you bastards, like how they can get away with that. It was like, if it was like Glock and HK, right? They, or who's another one that likes getting in various like funny Twitter spats, English Shooting and Landtac. But basically, like, if it was on like a funny or jovial subject, like, fair play. Like, they managed to just twist it round and sort of like laugh in their face about it. But on an industry that, like, on a topic and on a discussion that people were still really, really furious about. People were already like boycotting Basque and cancelling their memberships, and including myself. And to like amongst this really serious sort of announcement and backlash that they were getting, to take a very serious announcement from the cartridge manufacturers calling them out, to completely ignore it and not recognize or respond to the main issue that the cartridge manufacturers weren't consulted, and to just, it was just like they were just waving their fucking asses at people. Like, they were mooneying the industry. It was just so blatant that they had no answer for it, no justification for it. So, I think even not responding at all would have been better. But it was just like, you're taking the piss. Like, what do you take us for, fucking mugs? Like, they knew that wasn't going to pass. It wasn't going to pass by anyone, right? And yet they still did it. And it genuinely was like they were laughing at the industry. We're Basque and we can do what we want, and we don't care. We don't care if the cartridge manufacturers call us out. We're Basque. And I think really for a lot of people as well, that's what then lost them a fuckload of respect. Like, people were like, you're not even gonna in some way say, maybe we've rushed this through, or maybe we should have talked to a few more people. Just to laugh in the industry's face, I just thought was absolutely horrific. Honestly. So anyway, what was the original question? Simon. Do you really think the lead ban? No, it's not Simon. Sorry, Alex. Yes, because Basque, again, they've doubled down each time, at each opportunity. They are really going for this. Countryside Alliance, I think it was, has just released a video as well, just more like lead propaganda, basically. It's like we're being told what to do. Organizations that should be helping us and working with us and working for us, more importantly, they're just, no, this is what we're doing, and what the deal is. Go and watch the video. I've talked about this on other streams before, but it's the third video that was released more recently. It's UK government looking to ban lead, and of course what this has done is open the floodgates for lead ban. So no, I don't think it's going to go away, because our shooting organisations have already rolled over. They've already, the writing's on the wall, and it's fucking Basque and the Countryside Alliance that have put it there. It just seems such an own goal, and the fact that quite traditional and conventional Basque followers and Basque supporters have come out in support of that video and sort of what I was saying on lead. Like, I wouldn't say I'm typically a Basque demographic, or certainly don't think this channel or myself would appeal to the typical Basque member. And for actually a disproportionate amount of Basque members to be siding with what I'm saying, I think that sort of goes to show how much Basque have fucked up on this. But I don't know. I really, like, in 5-10 years time, Basque could end up looking like absolute utter geniuses, and like hitting the nail on the head and saving us from destruction. I don't know. I might have a lot of humble pie to eat. It's just like, I can't see it. They haven't given any evidence or any support or any explanation. They can't, basically all of the advertisement and all of the propaganda on the steel and lead argument is steel isn't that bad. Like, that's literally it. Like, no one has a good thing to say about steel, right? It's just steel won't really destroy your gun. It will give you slight wear, more wear, but it won't destroy it instantly, just a bit faster. And it's like, you know, lead is, and again, like the contradictions. I know I'm gonna sound like a broken record, but the contradictions, you know, like Basque is like, lead is bad for the countryside, and at the same time they go, it's not as bad as everyone thinks, and you're like, what? But like make your fucking mind up. And this is unfortunately the position they've put themselves in. They've just given the antis and the government everything they need, and now they can't defend it. Yeah, but you said that lead was bad. Yeah, but it's not that bad. And you've said that we've already got alternatives to move away from lead. Well, we sort of do, but give us 5 years, please. It's just it's not a farce, and I really don't know why Basque is still running after it. You know, it's just like they've thrown the industry under the bus. Anyway, more positive, more positive news. Oh, I can go down some alleyways, don't I? Oh, Simon's got. What did Simon say? Oh no, don't worry, Captain Crack. Can I? Oh, Simon, I don't know if your message is still there. If it isn't, I'm gonna copy it. So this message is actually from Simon Tobias. He's one of the KFC teams. If you're interested on going on the Netherlands shooting trip, as I was talking about earlier, 11th to the 12th of September, message Simon. There's numbers there in the message. If you're interested, dick pics, I'm sure will also be appreciated. Please, everyone, flood him with dick pics. Just please. Please, it will make my evening. Simon, you've done a very silly thing giving me your number to put out online like that. Only a few places left. Dick pics. Magpack. So anyway, more positive. So I got a company called Magband UK got in contact with me through Instagram. No worries, Captain. Like it could just be somebody, some weird rogue wanting everyone to send dick pics to their phone. But anyway, RB Field Sports Channel is running 10,000 steel cartridges through a shotgun to see what happens. That is going to be very interesting. However, and I like the Field Sports guys, right? Don't get me wrong. They've like. I've watched their stuff for a long time. I think they do a fantastic job. And I don't know. I really don't want to bring into question at all any of their sort of journalistic integrity. I'm certainly not one to be throwing stones in glass houses. Let's just see when it comes out. There's, you know, they are very much a business. Right, they, you know, whilst obviously I have my own interests in ways, they are very, very in with the Basque lot, and I would hope that there are well, again, can you do it with a selection of guns and a selection of cartridges? If they're just doing one gun and one type of cartridge, that's not really a sort of a true test. You know, if they go and get like a brand spanking new modern shotgun that has been, you know, designed from the ground up to use still shot, and they go and use like the, you know, the least harsh shot cartridges, still shot cartridges that they can find, it could be a test that could be very easily like played with in a way. Again, I trust those guys. I will be very interested to see what comes out of it. What I think would be personally how I would do the test is go and get like 3 20-year-old Bretta Silver Pigeons and run 3 different cartridge manufacturers cartridges through them, and try and do, you know, maybe do like a brand new Silver Pigeon, a 20-year-old Silver Pigeon. How long has a Silver Pigeon been going for? You know what I'm trying to say, like a 30-year-old, you know, a 30-year-old, a 20-year-old, a 10-year-old, and maybe like a modern day one, and just see, you know, really show the industry how different age guns or types guns are going to be affected. My wife just said that is all you've got. What, dick pics? Yes, the the Field Sports Britain experiment is with still shot proof barrels. Yeah, I mean, there's no point really testing a non-still shot proof because it's like the name's in sort of it's in the name really. I don't know. I'd just be interested to see how they do it and sort of where potential errors could lie with it. Anyway, what I was saying is I'm still gonna watch it. Someone share it to me when it comes out in case I miss it. But I am subscribed to them. It will pop out, and I do genuinely trust them, those guys, and I genuinely enjoy what they do, and I think they do a fantastic job. I just let's see how much of an influence the organisations, the cartridge manufacturers have on that test. Magband UK. So a company got in contact with me to say, like, look, do you want some stuff, send you some stuff, which I'm always up for. If you ever want something, shown on the channel, as long as it's not like utter crap. But this is something that I think is really useful and pretty cool. So not an issue personally. I have a lot myself in the UK, but out in America, I can see this being a huge thing, and they're mag bands, right? So and YouTube, before someone blocks me, these are dummy rounds. There's no live rounds here. There are no controlled parts. So basically it's to label your magazines. So you can see if the camera will focus. Come on, camera. You can do it. There you go. And of course, got to get that mag load extension in there. So you can see, obviously, that's a 223. And you might be going, well, of course it's a 223. Like, you can tell a 308 and a 223 mag apart. Apart from the fact, although this is a completely different magazine, apart from the fact that this is a 223 magazine, which of course takes 300 blackout, and that's not a mistake you want to be making. And it's a mistake that is unfortunately made quite a lot. So, just pretend you have two P mags that look exactly the same for a moment, but I just happen to have a Lancer mag and the P mag. A big thank you actually to riflemags.co.uk. They sent me these a while ago, and we've been using them for development. So big shout out to them. But yeah, you can see those bands. And then also, I know, again, this is a pretty straightforward one to identify, but you can see the 22LR. So there's a lot of kits now that are using, like take the Tipman mags, for example. They look very sort of 223 like. And it's not necessarily about a safety thing as well. You could just mistakenly pick one up to go to a stage. If you've got a 223 mag with ammunition or whatever, and you're at a 2.2 competition like a speed stills, you may pick up the wrong mag to go to the stage with. So it does help you identify which is with which. Certainly with the 300 blackout and the 223, that could be literally a potential lifesaver. And I've got a cover. I don't actually have a 308 mag, not in a P mag anyway, but that's a 308. And if you want a quick circle jerk, 6.5 Creedmoor. I've just made a load of guys just cream themselves just saying that 6.5 Creedmoor. I literally do picture. This is definitely going to get snipped out and used anyway. But in regards to 6.5 Creedmoor, every time I say it, I just imagine a load of middle-aged guy just playing soggy biscuit. It's just. Yeah, 6.5. Just see there's a real like 6.5 Creedmoor. Like everyone, how do you know if someone shoots 6.5 Creedmoor? They tell you, which has like completely put me off the round. Like, still haven't really got to try it and compare it with a 308, but just the fanboy nature of 6.5 just has put me off it. But anyway, back on to I digress. Magbands. It's Magband UK. So I'll show you their website. Their website is Magband UK. Oh, that can't be the right. Well, it says .company.site, but I don't think that actually is. That's just the URL that's come up. But I'm sure if you Google Magband UK, and they are of course on Instagram, I'll show you their website so you can see what it is. Of course, there's their 308. They do some stickers. They actually sent a couple of stickers to add to the collection. You can see they're all available on there. Well, they've got some few other ones as well. They've got 300 Win Mag, 338 Le Pure. and I'm pretty sure it's 338 and 308 sort of the same size mag. No, not entirely sure on that one actually. Can't say I shoot a lot of 338. But anyway, there are a lot of calibers you can get mixed up with, and also actually back onto the 223 and 22. There's a few companies as well that are doing sort of inserts for 223 mags. Again, something that you could easily confuse. And also actually I think it's the Lantac 9 is using 223 mags with a 9mm conversion. Funnily enough, they don't have a 9mm, so maybe that's a suggestion to Magband UK to make a 9mm one as well. Or no, there isn't one, but anyway, you know, I appreciate them sending them down. I'm gonna stick those on my mags. I did try to put them on my wrists. I can, even with my small petite wrists, they didn't fit, so they're not wristbands, and they have said that as they're expanding the range, there will be like other designs and other sort of ways to decorate your mags in the end. So yeah, big thank you for them for sending them down, and just wanted to give them a little shout out as a thank you. Using a still shot with a plastic wad may be okay, but with fiber wad, as the steel can come into contact with the barrels. So what happens with shoots that insist on fiber wad? Then you end up using I'm not even going to go down that route. There's just, I could get myself into so much trouble very quickly. Moving on. Basically, Alan, that's why we're fucked, right? Because we haven't got the technology there. We haven't got the cartridges. We haven't got the selection of cartridges. I mean, even the video that came out recently with the Countryside Alliance, they were saying like there's just certain things they can't yet do. You know, there's still big limitations to the technology of steel shot. You know, it's not thought out. We are not ready to transition. You know, and we're already, like, bearing in mind, like, the industry has been shut down for a year. We've already lost a year of that 5 years. You know, so we're 4 years away from this voluntary transition. You know, it's almost like the voluntary camps back in. No, I'm not even going to go there either. But you know where I was going. Hey, want to get on a train? Go to a holiday camp? It's just like, you know. I swear, this is only my second. Need a Magband to say, don't be poor. Yes. Magband UK, if you're watching, yes. Stop being poor. No, it's not don't be poor. It's stop being poor. It's my personal motivation every single day. Like, honestly, it's like, you know, people have like wish boards. That's the only wish board I need. I actually have a sticker by my desk as well. And we use it, you know, when people start moaning like, oh, well, I can't, you just stop being poor. It's a simple solution to poverty. You just stop being poor. Anyway, I'll go back in my box now. Just read through the Bill of Rights article. It's not going to help us in any way. If we want to get pistols and semi-autos back, we need to come up with a different plan. Any ideas? Introduce as many new people to shooting as possible. That is the one and only plan. There's no other short way or miracle that we're going to do it. We need millions of more shooters here in the UK, and we also need more shooters that are going to stand up and be vocal and speak out against ill thought out knee-jerk laws. It's all a numbers game. At the moment, there's only 700,000-800,000 license holders in the UK. That makes up an absolute pittance. It's like 1% of the population. The government is not going to care about the views and opinions and votes of 1%, right? If we can get 10% or 15% or 20% of the population into shooting and down their local ranges and getting their FACs and getting shotguns, that is when government will start getting scared. You know, how many, I don't even know this. Let me have a Google. How many people voted in the UK? UK general election, Nicola Sturgeon. What? general election 2019 turnout. Oh, just give me the fucking number. Jesus. 67.3%. Okay. Percent of what? Like, they must have known what the population was at the time of doing it. Like, it's not that hard just to put the bloody number. But it's like, what? There's like 70 million people in the UK. Oh, it just doesn't give the number. It just gives percentage. I want the number. Jesus. Oh, here we go. 2/3 of the UK electorate. That is 47. Yep. 47,587,254. Right. So at the moment we have like 800,000 license holders. Right. Let's just, well, it's like 800,000. Let's say it's 800,000. Right. That is. I've crashed. 10% would be 4.5. 1% is going to be 4. So it's like 2%, right? That's 2% of voters. Let's say that I'm doing quick maths. Let's say that every shooter, every license holder went out and voted. That's 2% of all votes. Like, yes, that is in some cases enough to be able to swing, but they're just not going to go after that 2%. They're going to go after the 10, the 15, the 20% demographics of those voters. But if we could end up getting, what was it like, if we increase the amount of shooters over 10 years or so by 10 times, and we end up getting 5-8 million shooters, then you're talking 10-20% of the total sort of voting population. That's something that then the government is not going to try and fuck with. They're going to really consider the votes of gun owners. So it is purely a numbers game. We need more numbers. The best thing, if you want handguns back, if you want full bore semi-automatic rifles back, take your friends shooting. Get them hooked on shooting, get them through the process of completing their application forms, and get them to join your local club, and all of that. Get them owning guns. That's the best thing you can do. And then you've got another shooter that isn't going to go and vote for, hopefully, going to go and vote for a party that is completely anti-gun. And I know the mainstream parties are all anti-gun, and the Conservatives have brought in the most gun control and Labour and all that, and I know they're all as bad as each other, but it's because they can all get away with stumping and treading on the English gun owner, right? That's just the long and the short of it. Registered voters, that's that's registered voters. 47 million. That's 47.5 million. Let's say. Tiger Wu banned. Lantac Life. Silence him. No, because I generally do like the LAF. I don't know if they're watching this evening. They did say they watched the live streams, and I hope they don't mind me sort of retelling this story. I'm not going to name any names, so that like half of you have just gone shit. So I had a phone call. I had someone email a while back asking about a 2.2 semi-automatic AR, right? And I think I gave them a few recommendations, one of which being Otto at Cotswold Classic Arms, and he phoned up to basically just get the full deal on the Lantac, but I don't think he necessarily knew the full story or had seen any of the videos or any of the previous live streams about it. But basically phoned up and it was like, so what do you think of Lantac? And I almost was like you're joking, right? Like if you watch the live stream or you watch the channel, you must know what I think of Lantac. But no, I was like, look, I really like the gun. I specifically really like the LASF 15, right? And I said, if that's the gun you really want, it's not, the gun isn't going to let you down. It's the company behind it. But it was just this, phone goes and it's like, what do you think of Lantac? It's like, this is a trick, isn't it? Oh, here comes the banhammer. What? Why? What? What's going on? Martin Straw, I spoke with Paul a few weeks ago when looking at ordering a Landtac, and I'm not just saying this, he didn't bash you, simply and calmly said, yeah, Callum doesn't like us very much, and then moved on. Slightly different to the interactions I've had with him in the past. I mean, from what Paul have said, is actually I'm responsible for selling quite a lot of Landtac, so I mean, commission would be valued. You know, if they want to send me down an LASF 15, you know, if I've really sold that many rifles for them, then I'd have one. I'd shoot one. I'd probably even shoot one in comp. And that's coming from a devout 1522 shooter. That's seriously how much I like the gun. But yeah, again, the long or the short of it, like, when things tend to go bad with the Landtacs, they tend to go really, really bad, and you don't tend to have a lot of support from the company. But the guns themselves, on the whole, seem pretty good. Wanderloaf, I'm a buy a Landtac and put magload things on it. To be honest, so many people do already. It is quite funny. There is a little bit. I mean, to be fair, I sort of wear many hats. Not in the literal, and actually in the literal sense. I wear many different hats on any given day because, you know, I have my magload cap, my English shooting cap, my own personal cap, and I'm always like flicking in between them. And in terms of magload, we genuinely made an offer, or Connor's made an offer to Paul and said, like, look, you know, we would love to make more bits for your guns. Your guns are very popular here. You know, people are asking for adaptations of our. So I think we had just released the 1522 Magwell, and people were asking for them for the Landtacs. And, you know, Connors went to Paul and basically said, look, you know, ignore Callum for a second. Like, that's Callum with his English shooting hat on, right? Coming from a magload point of view, we want, you know, you want to make your customers happy, surely, right? And your customers want our bits. They want magload bits for your rifles. You know, is there any way that you'd be willing to you know, let us have various CAD files or models of your guns so that we could, you know, design off of them and make these products? I think no would be the polite way of putting it in terms of the response that Connor's got, which is a shame because it was a genuine offer, and we did it anyway. We just ended up borrowing a couple of, you know, it was a little bit harder, took a little bit longer, but we got hold of the guns we needed and we took the measurements. But, you know, the offer was there, the bridge was extended. But anyway, because he's balding. I'll ban you, Dan. I will soon revoke your mod privileges. And Middleton copycat. Don't get me wrong. I called back a few weeks later to order a 2-2 Raven, and whoever that was only answered in single syllable grunts. But I wanted the gun, so pushed through it anyway. Yeah. It's weird actually that Paul's answered a UK call, because he's usually, as far as I'm aware, he's out in Texas all the time. Alex, so Callum recently got a job in a gun shop, awesome, and as a sales assistant, and I'm loving it. Any advice for working in the firearms industry? Find another job as soon as you can. The customers are terrible. They will drive you up the wall, and you will wonder what you've done with your life within a matter of months. No, you're not. You guys aren't so bad. How does Dan have mod? Sexual favours. So, in all seriousness, people do say there is a danger in making your hobby a career, because it then stops being a hobby and starts becoming work. If I was you, I don't know. There really isn't a bad thing about working in the gun industry. And actually, like, it hasn't put me off shooting. Like, you will lose an element of excitement. Like, when new guns come in now, or, yeah, when someone brings along a new gun, it's, like, hard to get excited because, you know, we're very fortunate, you know, and I don't want to be blasé about it. And I'm incredibly, you know, grateful and that we're in this fortunate position. But, like, it's very hard to get excited with stuff because we get so much stuff come through our hands. You know, we see so many different products, so many different guns, and You know, there's been so many times over the last few years that, you know, we've had the first one in the country. You know, we're the first ones to go out and, you know, enjoy it and, you know, and see it in action before anyone else. So, you know, very fortunate in that position, but then it sort of takes the sparkle off of it. In terms of, I mean, to be fair, I haven't like properly worked in a shop. You know, previously working in a gun shop, it was more marketing. You know, it was more sort of behind the scenes rather than being a, you know, a shop front. I have sold a couple of guns, actually gone through the process of selling them and putting them on someone's ticket. But in terms of, you know, my roles previously in gun shops, like it's just marketing, right? That's, you know, that's predominantly my role with Magload, although I just tend to do all of the boring admin-y stuff as well. But yeah, I don't know. Any advice? I really don't know. I think really just enjoy it. You know, you're going to have to learn how to politely cut conversations short, which is certainly not something that I'm very good at doing, because, you know, a lot of people that phone or come in to chat, like, you know, I'm passionate about it, they're passionate about it, and before you know it, you spent 3 hours talking about shooting, and it happens so often. You do have to be able to move on swiftly. There's a lot of talkers in the industry, and it can be quite hard sometimes to be like, look, I need to help with this customer now, or I need to do this. But then likewise, I want to chat to someone as much, you know, as they may want to chat to me or chat to anybody else in the shop. But yeah, being able to politely and swiftly end a conversation is definitely a skill that you're going to need. I think one mistake a lot of people tend to make in the industry is try to be experts on everything. And I get accused of that all the time with the channel. Oh, who's this self-proclaimed internet gun expert? Please show me where I've ever claimed to be an expert in anything. I might be slightly more knowledgeable on certain subjects than other people, or more than the norm, but I'm certainly not an expert of all things firearms. And I think that's potentially what not causes people's issues, but people try to give all the advice in the world when they may not necessarily know much themselves. So, you know your limitations and be honest. You know, if a customer asks you a question and you think, I'm gonna look like a dickhead for saying I don't know this, just tell them, be honest with them, and give your honest opinion on it. You know, there's I think too many gun shops out there that are just literally trying to ram the highest margin products down people's throats. And long term, that doesn't do anyone good, because if a customer goes away happy, they're not going to come back. So, you know, instead of going to the sale, go after happiness. You know, make sure that the person is going to walk out of that place happy, and then you'll never have a bad experience with customers at all. But yeah, apart from that, I don't know. It's just. I honestly don't see what I do as work. It never really feels like work. I just do what needs to be done, and I have fun doing it. But enjoy it. Just enjoy it, and prepare to be patient with the talkers. Smoker, I applied for my shotgun about 2 months ago, and the money hasn't come out of the account. How long can this take? Unfortunately, Smokeout, it's a very how long's a piece of string question. So I've known people that have had their applications granted within a few weeks. I also know people that it's taken 12, 18 months. It depends on which county you live in. It depends on how many applications are currently in, or the backlog of your county. And with COVID, it's just going to take a while. You know, I mean, my application went in October, you know, so it's already been, what are we on now? We're in, so it's already been like 6 months, you know, and it doesn't show signs of speeding up. Got a friend of mine who lives in New Jersey, always says how great it is. That sound clinically depressed. Anyway, I think that's a different conversation you're having. Remember to like the live stream, guys. Daniel remembered. I didn't. Yeah, if you're watching, thumbs up. It helps the channel, helps the analytics. Hunter Biden tried to buy a gun legal, and his daddy wants to take guns. He's a total hypocrite. Yes, if you want like the definition of hypocrisy, Hunter Biden and Joe Biden. M. Gabriel, so how come you don't have a US distributor instead of shipping per piece? So I'm assuming you mean for Magload. So there's two different, like when you're talking about distributors, some people will confuse distributors with dealers, and they are two very different things. And the way that we look at it at Magload is that a dealer is a third-party brand or a third-party company that wants to sell your stuff, right? Like a shop or an online shop, or a shop, a retailer, right? That's what a dealer is. And yes, in some way they are representing your brand, and we have in the past removed certain dealers because we don't feel that they are in keeping with the Magload brand. But really, they're a shop. They will sell hundreds of different lines of companies' products, and it just sort of that they buy the stuff in and sell it, right? It's a very we need this much on for our stock. We buy it from you, and then we sell up at a markup. A distributor is a much better thing. Is a much bigger thing. A distributor, not always, but the way that we want it to be is we want the distributor to be representing the brand out in another country, and that takes a lot of trust. Somebody to go out there and fly your company flag for you, you need to know that they are 100% going to do that correctly, that they're going to do it with the ethos of the company that you want to be shown out there, to be put out there, and you're also to get down to brass tacks, you're talking a lot more money. You're talking a lot bigger orders. You're talking like a lot bigger operation. A distributor is someone that will go out into that country. They will wrangle up a load of shops. They will get your products into that shop. It is a hell of a lot more work. So why don't we have a US distributor? We just haven't found the right people. Right, we've had a few people get in contact, and it's sort of one of the, not necessarily golden rules, but certainly a lot of advice that I've had over the years is, if someone comes to you for a distributor, don't. Right, you need to pick the distributor. You need to pick that person that is going to grow your brand in that country. And we just haven't, there's a lot of people that do this in their part-time or their spare time. And we don't want that. We need someone that is going to be absolutely hard driven to grow the brand and represent that brand the way that we want it represented in that country. And we just haven't haven't found the right company or the right person or the right people yet. However, on the news of distributors, we talked about it last week, we do have a new South African, we have a South African distributor. They will be very shortly receiving their first shipment. So any South African people out there looking for your Magload gear, it's now going to be a lot easier to buy out there. South Africa is just one of the worst places to ship to, unfortunately. A lot of stuff goes missing. Customs is absolutely horrendous in terms of the processing and also the customs fees. So that's a country we've definitely been on the list. It's a big shooting country, and to know that there are going to be shops out there stocking it thanks to this team, it's just going to be like a big jump for us, certainly out in that region of the world. I'll give them a plug, because if there's anyone from South Africa watching, or anyone, I think I asked you guys to do this last week, but if you could go and give these guys a like as well, whether you're South African or not, I would just really appreciate it, and certainly they would. So this is going to be these are the new Magload distributors out in South Africa, as you can probably tell from their banner. So it's Rocksteady Gear. And the guys are absolutely fantastic. And again, it was more about the people in terms of agreeing a distribution deal with them. It was just their sort of ethic, their work ethic, their general, ethos of doing things, and also the plan that they put forward to us, that we were very, very impressed with, and we just thought it would work. Now, whilst I've just said, you don't accept offers, you don't necessarily want people to come to you. You want to go and find people, you want to go and source people. Rocksteady did actually come to us, but we were just so impressed with it all. Though it was just so happy with what they put forward. We were like, this is we want to go with these guys. So yeah, we, long and the short of it, with the US, we just haven't found the right people yet, and it's part of the big reason that we're going out into the US in October. So as you know, there's the trip with American Shooting Trips out to Kentucky for a week. I'm actually Connors and I, and Mr. Daniela, or Miss Daniela, or Mrs. or Ms. I don't know what your previous relationship history is, Daniela. We will be going out there for, I think it's 2 weeks prior to that trip, and it's a business trip basically. I mean, Daniela and also Arias, we pick Arias up in Dallas like a week into that trip. I think Arias and Daniela are there for more moral support, but certainly the main objective for Connors and I is to come away from that trip with at least one potential distributor, if not a number of distributors. Well, again, we'd only really like one. We want one brand so that we can focus on, one company so we can focus on them. Or some dealers, so we will be making loads of stops to potential distributors and potential dealers, and we want to come away. We know that we need to get out into the States. We know we need a bigger presence there, but we need representation out there, and it's about finding the right people. Daniel Smerald, I've worked business to business and business to customer sales for about 6 years now. If you need any help or advice, DM you. I'd DM you. I don't know whether I've taken any of your advice on board, but it's fairly easy to get firearm certificate here in the UK, but a lot easier to lose it for saying what might be considered to be the wrong thing, as I'm sure Callum knows, unfortunately. Yes, I know that very well. Yeah, you just got to stay away from those non-mainstream views. Variations are quick now for some reason. Cool. So you're going to be at the Steel Comps on the 24th. If so, what gun are you shooting with? 1522. Of course. I might even use the opportunity. I don't know how seriously I want to take the comp. If I'm going to do it absolutely like sort of balls to the wall serious, I'll use the 1522 because that's the gun I'm most familiar with. Although I may take the opportunity to sort of shoot the Connor's battle arms in anger. So we'll see what happens. But it will either be a battle arms or it will be a 1522. If you're 16 and hold a shotgun certificate or FAC, how old do you need to be to buy ammunition from a local shop? There's actually a video that went out this week on the channel about that. How old do you have to be to buy a gun? Although technically the title doesn't talk about ammunition, we do talk about ammunition in that video. It is 18. So to be able to buy any ammunition within the UK, you have to be 18 years or older. You can be gifted ammunition though. And this can get very, very grey very, very quickly. But I hope you can understand potential ways that you could, if you're 16 and you've got EFAC, how potentially someone could gift you ammunition. But yeah, there's mechanisms for it. You just can't buy it yourself. It has to be given to you. Are you allowed to own handguns and semi-autos in the UK? Define handgun. We can own sort of handguns, long barrel pistols with which have an overall length of 24 inches, or so actually I'll reverse it. So within England, with what we're not allowed to own is short arms. So anything that has a barrel under 12 inches or a total length under 24 inches, and that's why we have these long barrel pistols and long barreled revolvers with a 12-inch barrel and a rod out the end to make them 24 inches. You are allowed shorter handguns. So black powder, muzzle loading are absolutely fine. So Alan Westlake makes actually a modern muzzle loading revolver. the closest thing to a normal revolver that you can, but it is that you can get, but it is muzzle loading. Semi-autos in the UK, we're allowed semi-automatic shotguns, and we're allowed semi-autos in 2.2 rimfire. Nothing else. And whilst I say nothing else, and I say things are banned all the time, and I know some people get really uppity about it, nothing is technically banned in the UK. It's just different classifications. Section 1 and Section 2 of the Firearms Act allow private individuals, sportsmen, hunters, to be able to own firearms for that. Section 5 is like police and military. It's specialist manufacturers, specialist gun dealers, specialist collectors, and Section 5 is basically any other weapon. So full bore semi-automatic rifles, Section 5, proper handguns, Section 5. They can be owned, but it's just your average, your average guy down the street is not going to be able to go and apply for a Section 5 dealership. Hope that clears it up. Unless Biden starts World War III with Russia. Or just simple question, Team AR or Team AK? Difficult to sell a product line if the distributor can't maintain their own stock management. Yes, this is sort of an issue we've had previously, but I won't get into that. You would think that they would have all that automated appropriate lead times. So actually, I know a little bit about. I think it's Brownells. It's all effectively drop shipped, right? So if you go on Brownells UK, what it says is in stock is not in stock in the UK, right? They have to basically, I think they have like a monthly shipping container come over from the US, and it drops in the UK. So, if you order just before the shipping container shipment, then you should get it pretty quickly. If one has just been and then you order something, then it could potentially be a long time. But Brownells and Midway, like for the UK, horrendously expensive, unfortunately. Like some of the parts on there, some of the accessories are just they make my eyes water of how expensive. I think when I bought my my EOTech, I think I bought my EOTech for I think it was 350 quid. They were like £900 for the same optic. Oh Jesus, Daniel, AR22WMR. If we have World War III, you're getting killed first. I'm just putting it out there, Daniel. This actually seems to Team FAL. There actually seems to be a pretty good balance between Team AR and Team AK. Team SA80. Oh, you're getting clapped first as well. Here in California, you can buy a lever action, pump action, or bolt action rifle at 18, but semi-automatic rifles at 21 is such a stupid rule. To be honest, yeah, 18. Wait till you're 18. I've never. I know this is going to be such a British or such a non-American thing to say, but you can buy a gun at 18, but you can't drink till you're 21. What fucking sense does that make? Or is that to make sure you're well trained with the gun before you start drinking? I don't know. It's you can drive in America in some states, I think at 14. So you can drive when you're 14, buy a gun when you're 18, but you can't drink or gamble until you're 21. In terms of rules that don't, or laws that don't make sense, I really think that that utterly takes the biscuit overall. It's just anyway. Team Keltec. Oh, Arish is getting clapped first now. Leave the bullpups to me. No, the bullpups are my gun. Daniel, come on. Team TR rifle fighting off zombies in a gimped up jackets and binders. No, I believe that's just called food wrapping. Cowboy action would be a great video. Well, the thing is, this is the thing, when we go out to the States, we'll be able to go and actually try all of this stuff out. There was actually some cowboy shooting in the last trip to Utah. We actually had, his name was Wolf, or Mr. Wolf, I think. I can't remember. But anyway, He was like an absolutely great, like such a nice guy, funny. He also, he could also put up with the British humour as well, which always goes down well. But he was a cowboy action shooter. I'm gonna actually, I know he's on YouTube. I'm gonna try and see if I can find him, because he's not one of these sort of like, oh yeah, I can do cowboy shooting. Like, he's the real fucking deal. Cowboy. I think it's, if I can find him, it'll be epic. And try, it'll be worth the wait, I promise. He was on YouTube, and I think he's like within the cowboy shooting community. He is pretty well known. But yeah, because he was teaching us like practical shooting, right? He was teaching us handgun, you know, like IPSC or USPSA handgun. And then to sort of see him rock up with all of his cowboy gear and just like completely flip the switch was absolutely incredible. I'm trying to search it. I'm not gonna find it, am I? Anyway, anyone that's been on the Utah trips, you'll know who I'm talking about. He does appear in, again, I could go searching through all of my old videos, but it would just take me forever. No, I thought it'd be easy to find. Sorry for that. I've just completely cock teased you all. It was epic. If you really want to see it, go look through the old Utah videos. Team PCC, is that you coming out, Dan? Daniela, even. Team cigarettes seem to be under lock and key in Florida. Guns and ammo was ready available off the shelves in Walmart. Yeah. Western Morning in Kentucky, awesome. Yeah, I'll be filming it all, so you'll get to see whatever we get up to. You know, any good pump action shotguns, usually taken over and under, side by side or semi, to my playground would like to take a pump action for fun. If you're doing it purely for fun, and you want just an absolute solid pump action, go get an old 870 Wingmaster, right? A Remington 870. Don't buy a new one. The new ones, unfortunately, are just utter junk. Go and get like a 1970s and 1980s 850. They are built like brick shithouses. They will never let you down, and they are only going up in value, right? If you want arguably the best pump action shotgun, well, for practical, is the Supernova. For clays, probably the Supernova. Screw it, I'll go with the Supernova. Oh no, because it's a 3.5 inch chamber. Maybe an SXP. No, that's a 3.5 inch as well. No, it's Supernova. Get a Supernova, and then you can use it for practical as well. Over here, the drinking age used to be 18, but there was a lot of kids getting in car crashes, so sadly they raised it to 21 in the 1970s. Very stupid rule, I know. I didn't know the history of it, actually. Thanks for expanding on that. I didn't know it was because of that. But again, like, we don't... Is it a huge issue here in the UK? I mean, you know, we can drink at 18 and drive at 18. Like, we don't seem to have a horrendous drink drive problem. Not that I know of it. Top Shot in Kentucky, as well as all kit delivered. Awesome. Not drone flying again, are you? I hope so. I know I'm gonna have to read the rules, because it's been a few years since I've flown a drone in the US, and I know things change pretty rapidly when it comes to drone laws. But if I can, I will. Why were pump action rifles banned in the UK? Rate of fire. They thought that the rate of fire, similar with semi-auto, would have been too high. Again, you can have pump action rifles in 2.2 rimfire, but in terms of full bore, it was too fast. And again, that's why Things like lever release and Mars were banned because it was too far. Just don't tell them about the straight pulls. For clay shooting with an under and over, do you think a choke is required or just personal preference? It depends at what level, right? For my clay shooting, I have never changed a choke for clay pigeon shooting, right? You know, basically because I'm not good enough. I'm really not good enough to see the difference. I just have, I think it's a 1/2 and a 1/4 choke in the silver pigeon, and that's what stays in there, right? Don't actually know where the chokes that came with the other chokes that came with that gun are. They're probably buried somewhere in deep in the wardrobe or something. But really just a 1/2 and a 1/4. Unless you're going to start going, unless you're going there to win competitions, unless you really want to become like a county, national, or international champion, don't worry about the chokes. There is, for beginners, or even just like good amateur shooters, there is so much more to sort of. There's so much more bigger gains that you can make without worrying from the chokes. Just experience, just getting out there and actually shooting more, and putting more lead down range and breaking more clays overall, you'll see a bigger benefit. It's like with track days, right? I'm into my cars, I'm into my track days, and so many people, they worry about getting more power out of their car, putting bigger brakes on it, what tires to put on there. The biggest gains to be had is with the squidgy thing in it. And it's the same thing with guns. Like the biggest gains are always behind the gun. It's the squidgy thing holding it. There's spend your money on training, spend your money on ammunition, and go down and put lead down range. Are you aware of the 366 TKM guns made in Russia? It's a nice little loophole, might work here in the UK. Shh. Don't be talking about any of these loopholes. Control C, Control V. Is it a rimfire? Is it? Is that the... I didn't know that. I don't know, I have to research that after the stream, otherwise I'll just spend the next half an hour trying to read. To be fair, like talking about chokes, even with practical, like again, chokes for practical, personally, in my experience, can matter more. But up until recently, I couldn't tell you what choke was in my gun, and then I had some fairly good tuition with Connors, and he sort of showed me what you can and then can't do. Because you are shooting at targets much closer, it can make quite a big difference. If you've got a close no shoot, you want to choke up. Otherwise, you want sort of as open a choke as you can get away with, so that you can shoot faster. And it's always a balance. And again, that sort of just comes down with experience. Loop a 22 LR will do fine in flatlands. Yeah. Texas legislature debating constitutional carry live. Got to go. Thanks all. Well, interesting. Yeah, it's interesting times in the States at the moment. There's lots of going on, and I do find it quite interesting that a lot of like governors have like basically put their fingers up to Biden and said, "Don't care. I don't care what you guys do. Like what you want to do in the White House, you do it. In my state, we're going to support gun ownership." It's the nut behind the butt to be smart in shotgun biz. One must shoot where the target is going and not where it is. Absolutely. Unless stationary, of course. Adam, but weirdly, voting age used to be 21, but during Vietnam, the radical left made it 18. Yeah, because they wanted more people. Because I think it's like if you voted, then you could get what do they call it? Enlisted, right? You could get called up for service, so they wanted more people to send out there. Any update on the range versus monks? No, not that I've seen. I did ask them to let me know if there were any big updates on that, but there's been nothing yet. But as soon as there is, I'll give you guys an update. So yeah, in terms of videos planned coming out, I'm going to be doing a sort of full recap on the Bill of Rights thing with Basque and Bill Harriman, just to get that information out there, because I get so many questions about it. I get so many messages about it, so it'd be good to sort of clear that one up. And much to Daniel's dismay, I will be doing a video on the force reset triggers. They're just really interesting. This isn't about getting around laws and things like that. It's just a very interesting mechanism, and also trying to answer the question of whether they would be legal in the UK. Just like always, it's a very grey answer, but let's give a little sneak peek on that. In my opinion, I think force reset triggers are potentially more legal than the binary triggers. Like binary triggers, no, they're not legal. Force reset, it's like, I wouldn't advise anyone go out and buy one. Like, I'm not saying they are legal, I'm just saying they're less illegal, but still probably illegal. So I'll be doing a video on that. Was there anything else, any big things? Like, I was thinking about potentially making a video on Prince Philip, and I thought no, the live stream was probably sort of good enough to that sort of touch on that subject. But yeah, force reset triggers and the Bill of Rights will probably be 2 videos coming out. Probably Bill of Rights out on Sunday, and then probably force reset triggers out on Tuesday or Wednesday. But it always moves. Like, I always make these plans, and then something will happen, and then I get held up, and I can't get the video out. Did you manage to get your FAC and SGC back? No, not yet. As soon as I do, everyone will know. Trust me. But no, thanks for asking. Nothing yet. I think it would be interesting to have playground courses for FAC shotgun that involve rapid target acquiring of multiple targets. Would it go down well with the Home Office? Nothing goes down well with the Home Office when it comes to guns, but practical's still going. So, you know, some sort of multi-clay sort of simultaneous targets would be pretty cool. We are far from the federalist power here in the States. Are almost small countries. Oh, sorry, here states are almost small country. The sanctuary cities legalize weed, except our own. Yes, yeah, no, I know the states. I mean, that's why it is the United States. You know, and Texas, I'm pretty sure still think that they are a separate country. They're like, who are all these other guys? But yeah, I mean, that is just one of the very complex things about US law and the US in its entirety. But also what makes, for me, the United States so interesting and so fascinating to visit is you effectively have all of these different countries in one country. Although it's like it's like literally crossing a continent to travel America. You know, the size and scale are just like, unless you've been out there driving about, you just get no idea for the scale of it compared to the UK. I mean, you know, the UK will fit in Florida, for fuck's sake. You know, just one state, and Florida isn't a particularly big state. But yeah, it's very fascinating, and that's why it's very intriguing to watch over here, over the other side of the pond, what's going on there with Biden and the governors and all that. Obviously, California's like, bring it on, come on, more gun laws. But yeah, Texas, Utah, Florida, yeah, good luck, Biden. Do you know of any company that makes an aftermarket grip for a Supernova? No, I don't, unfortunately. No, with for those of you that didn't check out, I think last week or the week before, we had a very new. I did have the photo properly up for the live stream that I talked about it, but I've got it on my phone. There may be, don't hold me to this, but it certainly is something we've discussed with the new acquisition at Magload. Just getting a picture of it up for you guys. There we go. So our Formiga EOS P110. It's where are we going? So it's a new 3D printer, and and no, it's not a desktop 3D printer. So you can see, where is it? That's a workbench there. So it's a pretty big thing. This basically means that big products like fore ends and grips that were previously too they were not economical enough for us to print using third parties. Now that we've got our own printer, it opens up a whole world of possibilities. So I don't know of anyone at the moment, but Magload may have their own fore ends and grips and stocks soon, hopefully. Do you have any interest in the 3D gun printing? Would it be possible to legally 3D print a gun in the UK, or would you be strangled by regulations? Funnily enough, no. You wouldn't be strangled. It would be legal if you're an RFD, if you have a registered firearms dealership, or if you have an RFD, basically you've been given a license from the police to sell guns. But an RFD can also allow you to manufacture guns. There's no stipulations on what technologies you use to manufacture guns. So if you are an RFD and you are legally allowed to manufacture guns, then if you want to 3D print them, you can 3D print them. If you want to mill them out, out of plastic or metal or whatever, you can do that. If you want to cast them, you can cast them. And any technology. Your average Joe, though, can't. Like, even with a firearm certificate, even if you have a slot for, an AR-15, you can't make that gun yourself. It gets very tricky and very grey. But it certainly is on the list of things that, once I have the right licensing, I would like to do, is definitely legally, always legally, 3D print a gun, and potentially even sell it, and see what we can do with the technology in terms of guns. I know obviously 3D printing and guns is very much it's sort of like an underground thing. It's seen as, getting around the laws and all that. That's genuinely not the interest we have. Again, like, pretty much everything that Magload makes is 3D printed and uses some form of 3D printing technology, and and everything we currently make is legal. We would love to be able to legally expand that into 3D printed guns at some point. Whether or not it's feasible, I don't know, but there's a lot of things, like a lot of people said that 3D printing a muzzle brake would never work. Well, who's laughing now? So yeah, it will be something at some point, and yes, it is legal if you have the right licensing. Yeah, Daniel, you're wrong. You can legally 3D print a gun, just like you can legally manufacture a gun in the UK. So what, Holland, they're breaking the law, are they? 3D printers aren't banned for, making guns. You just need the right licensing to be able to do it. And ignore everything on Rare Breed. Yeah, I know it's a honey trap. Yeah, all right, Daniela. Stop getting yourself scared. It's a product that's out there. We're allowed to talk about it. Like, Magload mags. It's coming. It's actually a product that's fairly well into development, but again, it's not completed, so I can't give a time. But yeah, it's coming. I do just want to stress on the Rare Breed force reset triggers. Please, no one buy them. Like, whilst the video is going to be slightly more interesting than the binary trigger video, my outright recommendation, and my my plead with you is not to buy one. And it's going to be very similar. I'll just tell you what the basic premise video is going to be. It's basically the same as the Bumpfire stocks, right? At one point in the UK, they were technically legal to own, but there's a thing called spirit of the law, and you are going to have a very difficult time justifying to a judge or a jury that a force reset trigger is legal and is within the spirit of the law. it's going to, like, if you're caught with a force reset trigger in the UK, you're going to have a mountain of problems. There's no way around it. But it is certainly a more interesting mechanism to look into the legalities of, because as far as I can see, there isn't anything specifically banning it, which is it is just very interesting. But yes, I really don't recommend any. Really don't recommend anything. Recommend anything. I really don't recommend anyone buying them. Don't leak anything. Don't worry, Daniel. I know what I'm allowed to say. And I didn't say which magazine. Yeah, you're gonna have to wait, aren't you? Don't need a stock to bump a gun. Shh. Stop telling them that. Anyway, I don't think there's anything more. There is. There's sort of something. Just as a quick side note, if anyone out there that's watching that want to do a new course, UK PSA safety course is being run again. If you want to get your long gun safety certificate and your competition license, then drop Magload an email at info@magload.co.uk and we can arrange for there to be a course. Connor's run one last Friday before, so that's 6 more people ready for the competition circuit and competition season. So if you want to get into practical, you want to get into IPSC and UK PSA matches, and you need to get your competition license, then drop Magload an email. Because of course we're allowed to shoot outside and shoot indoors now, which is absolutely fantastic. Rossi or Marlin? Personally, I think Marlin. Not illegal yet. Yeah, it's like pretty much anything to do with guns in the UK that is currently legal, not illegal yet. I have an open slot on my ticket for a 38 or 357 underlever. Well, yeah, Rossi or Marlin, really. Marlin, I've seen a lot of good things about the Marlin. It's just, yeah. The Marlins seem to... And the Marlins are the side ejecting guns, right? A lot better if you want to put a scope on it, that's for sure. But yeah, my vote would be the Marlin. And I would probably say, just like with the Remington, probably go for an older one. The newer ones, like, they're still like high quality rifles, but the older ones just seem to be a little slicker and certainly a little better built. But there we go. I'm probably going to wrap it up there. Because I need a wee. I'm getting tired. I think it's been a good stream. But yeah, thanks for joining, guys. It's been a good one, as it always is. Sorry for the technical issues earlier. Before you all leave, make sure you've subscribed and liked this video. It does make a huge difference to the analytics. We do this every single Thursday. See, that's why I need to go. I'm losing it. We do this every single Thursday, 7:30 UK time. I have been toying with the idea of potentially making it a little bit later now with the lighter evenings, but let's say it's 7:30 for next week, and keep an eye on the English Shooting Facebook page if that does change. But there we go. Yeah, thanks everyone for joining. Thanks for everyone that supported supported the stream this week with your donations. It is greatly appreciated. And yeah, I hope you all have a fantastic week, and hopefully we'll see you all next week, same place, same time. But there we go, guys. Take care, and as always, I hope to see you soon.